Hey everybody out there in YouTube land and Facebook. This is Annette Dion. It's Tuesday, June 15th, and I'm here with the Psychic News Network. Just wanted to check in, check the news, and see what's going on. So as we know, Joe Biden is getting ready to have a meeting with his, I wanted to say his buddy Vlad. It's not his buddy. He who shall not be named and he were buddies, but this is a whole different scenario. Gratefully, it's not going to be like, oh, you know, Putin can do no wrong, because Putin has done a lot wrong, and he definitely needs to be called out on it. So that will be happening. We're going to just check in with the cards and the guides and see how this meeting is going to go. I think it's a little ridiculous, all the hype around it, like it's a movie or something. You know, we got to take these things a little more seriously. A little subdued energy would be good, you know, doesn't have to be somber, but I mean, I see like MSNBC, which I watch frequently, you know, having these like advertisements like, oh, tune in for the next episode of Vlad and Biden, and I'm sorry, that's just over the top. Anyhow, it's just my humble opinion. So let's take a look at the Hanson Roberts deck and see what's coming up for that meeting. My sense is my guides are telling me there's some nefarious stuff going on with Vlad, which is just the energy of him. But around this meeting, I feel like there's some deception. Once again, that's something that you would just assume coming from him anyhow. So let's pray for protection for Joe Biden. I don't mean to like suggest something terrible is going to happen. That's not what I'm saying. I'm only saying that I've seen thinking around, you know, Vlad and his cohorts. I've seen some thinking around, you know, how Russia can come out ahead, or how Vladimir Putin can come out ahead, because it's not really Russia. It's not about the Russian people. It's about this authoritarian dictator who is really, this video is for entertainment purposes only. He's really like, he doesn't have a soul, like Joe Biden said, right to his face. So we're gonna just take a look at a few cards. I hope you're doing well and that you're enjoying the beginnings of summer here in New England. It's still on the cool side, which I'm fine with that. Very humid, but really nice. Nice to see all the trees and all the leaves and, you know, the flowers. It is a beautiful time of year. Every season has its beauty. So let's tune in. Joe Biden is a Scorpio. So he's not going to show all his cards, so to speak. And I actually think that Joe Biden is going to do better with kind of holding his cards close to his chest, as they say, than Vlad. I'm kind of feeling Putin in a kind of a precarious place. It feels like he's backed into a corner. I'm not sure if that has to do with the United States, but I think it does have to do with the European Union and the G7 summit. And it's almost like they had the opportunity, the different countries, our different allies, had the opportunity to get all their ducks in a row. So now they have a plan, and Putin's kind of on his own. So there is that advantage. So I really think that Biden has something. I feel like he has something on Vladimir Putin that Putin doesn't know about. Doesn't know that he knows. And the scorpionic nature of Joe Biden is such that he would, see, I have Scorpio rising. We like to be kind of secret. And him being a full-on Scorpio, he's very clever. Biden is very clever at knowing what to say, when to say, and what not to say, especially. And he pays attention. I feel like he pays attention to things like voice tone and body language. He might have some training in that. Like if you worked for Secret Service, that would be part of your training. Reading people's body language, reading like the tone of their voice, you know, being able to discern when somebody's lying. I can do that, but that's because I'm psychic. Drives me crazy when people lie. Crazy. I tell you. Okay, so here we have, this is about the meeting. I feel like, okay, the Page of Pentacles is, you know, it's good. I feel like there's going to be, not that they're going to be friends, because that's definitely not going to happen, but I feel like it's gonna bring a sense of having accomplished something important. The Page of Pentacles is going in with a very clear goal. Like if you saw Jill Biden, his wife, being interviewed about this G7 summit and all this, and she was saying, this is Joe's thing. Foreign policy is what Joe Biden loves and does really well, and he's been on the world stage for decades, and it's a really good thing. We're really fortunate. So I feel like there's a very clear, concise goal that he has in mind that he's been thinking about for a long time. The guides are just saying something about the remember the bounties from Russia on U.S. troops. That is a really big point that Joe Biden's going to make at that meeting. I feel like having our European allies behind us, boy, they really were praying for that. It really feels like Europe especially was praying for the United States to get it together, because they have been so used to us all being all in this together, really since the end of World War II. You know, I mean, when things kind of got back on track. I mean, the United States history, even though we've got a lot of dark history, has been, like, I get the word philanthropic. The United States has been in the past. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we're perfect, because we definitely have committed a lot of sins too. But you know, if we average it out, the United States has been beneficial. Other countries' relationship to the United States has been beneficial more than it has been not beneficial. Once again, I just want to say, I know we've made huge mistakes as a nation. But in regards to this European, you know, the G7 summit and all that, I just feel this sense of like, you know, like Jill Biden was wearing that jacket that says love. I'm really feeling the love there. I'm really feeling like, you know, when you think about it, it was kind of like a reunion. It's kind of like a class reunion if you loved all the people in your class. That's the sense that I get around that meeting. Like not only was it a meeting about serious issues and challenges that we face as a world, but it was like, hey, it's so good to see you again, like that too. So the Ace of Cups is full, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that I'm getting these positive cards regarding the meeting, but I feel like there's something about Vladimir Putin that's going to be like frozen and kind of paralyzed by this meeting. He's not going to get what he wants. Vlad is not going to get what he wants. And I did see a little snippet of that interview that he had with a reporter. And I mean, Putin was being interviewed, and he was off. His energy was really off. He was like sweaty and really defensive and kind of attacking. I dropped a card. Hang on. And I get the Hermit card, which means he feels like he's standing all alone. Because he is. Because now the alliance has grown stronger between the United States and Europe especially. And Vlad's on his own. So there's that. Okay, number 2 issue. We're going to talk a little bit about, well, which should I pick? I'm thinking about Trump and, you know, like spying on, you know, asking for investigations of different Democrats and news outlets, and, you know, totally illegal. This man, when I think about him, he who shall not be named, I don't like to say his name. When I think about him, and I think about, in my lifetime, people that I have known about that have committed crimes, the guy that occupied the White House, former to Joe Biden, I don't think I've ever seen a character that's committed so many heinous crimes against a country. So what's going to happen with that? That's what we want to know. What's going to happen with that? What's the outcome of that going to be? I spoke in my last video about Merrick Garland and how, you know, he's just methodically and carefully going through what he needs to go through, and it's a lot. I mean, he really needs more people that are helping. And I do get, okay, let's pick cards first about Merrick Garland. I do get that he's meeting some resistance and he is being threatened. Like the poll workers have been threatened. But by the same token, I feel like he has a lot of protection around him in terms of, like, I don't know, Secret Service. I feel like he's got a lot of security around him. But he's very gingerly, you know, tiptoeing around these things. It's kind of like a really good lawyer won't present a case until all the elements are in his briefcase, so to speak. So we're going to ask about Merrick Garland and whether he's going to take action against he who shall not be named in terms of, you know, calling out the crimes and issuing subpoenas and all that. I do see Bill Barr going to jail, and I do see Giuliani going to jail. So I do see jail sentences. Okay, so I'm picking up the Tower card. Yeah. So with Merrick Garland, it feels like, you know, just when he deals with a pile of stuff that he's working on, something else another curveball comes, and another curveball comes. So it's like, oh my, it's like the breaking news thing. It's like, oh, what next? You know, so he's working on consolidating what he's doing, and at the same time, he's like, there's like missiles coming in. I don't mean that literally, but missiles of information. And I feel like he'll get to it. It kind of reminds me of, like, so there's a reporter, I don't know where he's from, the other day, I think it was yesterday, that said, when are you going to get to such and such to Joe Biden? And Joe Biden kind of flippantly, I don't think it was very cool, but he said, it's only been 120 days. For Merrick Garland, it's been less than that. So, you know, we kind of have to, as Americans, we kind of have to get out of our, you know, like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, get their itis, and, like, understand that really important issues must be worked through methodically. Really important issues have to be worked through, you know, with a fine-tooth comb, and you can't rush these things. I know, but, you know, quality takes time, right? So the Tower card is like, that's indicative of just when Merrick Garland gets his case all, like, tied up, there's more information coming in, there's more stuff coming in. So I am seeing, like, the guides are showing me a mountain of issues, of legal issues, and it's gonna take a while to shake it out. I'm getting the number 6 now. I don't think that we have to wait 6 months to hear anything, but it feels like it will be 6 months before we're actually seeing court, he who shall not be named. If you saw any of the footage from the Mike Lindell rally in Wisconsin over the weekend, it was, you know, it was laughable if it wasn't so serious. So he who shall not be named made a video appearance. It's just in alignment with what I said. He's failing. He looked awful. His eyes were all puffy. He was just repeating himself. He had real low energy. I mean, I have seen a falling downhill kind of energy with him, like almost like it is dementia. I feel like it's dementia. So as far as Merrick Garland goes, back to that. But I only brought up the rally and the video and how bad the former guy looked. Because it's really an interesting, you know, sort of parallel that we're looking at. Is like, you know, the conspiracy theorists, the people that are hanging on to the big lie, the people that are saying that he won, and then there's him, and he looks awful, and you're wondering how they can be wanting somebody like that to be president. In addition to all the heinous things that he was doing and what he didn't do, he really has destroyed our democracy, not single-handedly. We were in trouble anyway. But to want him to be in the White House again is to want the end of this country. And I don't say that lightly. So it's really interesting, the juxtaposition between, you know, the people that want him back in office and how he really is. The hangman, okay, we're going back to the Merrick Garland topic. The hangman is, we really do need to surrender. Merrick Garland is a very spiritual guy. I mean, I don't know how much he's practicing his faith, but I'm picking up a lot. So he's praying about a lot of what's going on with his work, and, you know, who to prosecute, who to subpoena, who to work with. So let's pray for Merrick Garland, because he's got really too much to handle on his plate. And what the guides are telling me about Merrick Garland is this voter rights thing is gonna be a big deal. He's gonna grab onto it like a pit bull, and he will not let go of calling out the unconstitutionality of voter suppression bills. So that's first and foremost on his mind. It's interesting, because I feel like the second thing on his mind is to deal with the insurrection and what happened there, and prosecutions and all that. But I actually think that the first thing that he's going after is going to be these voter registration restrictions. So, yay, Mr. Garland. Wow. Okay, the third topic that I want to look at, that I'm just sort of pulling things out of the air that I think people want to know about, is COVID. The guides showed me 6 variants that people will have to deal with. The guides also showed me that it's really wise for people to still adhere by the guidelines. Maybe not the pre-vaccine guidelines, maybe not that strict, like we don't have to go into lockdown because so many people are vaccinated now, but I am being shown the masks should still be worn. And when you're in a small enclosed area with a lot of people, the masks should still be worn. That's just what I'm getting. Because I don't, even though I've heard that the variants that the vaccines are resistant to the variants, I'm not getting that psychically. There's no guarantees on that. So let's ask about COVID and, you know, these different variants. In India, I'm seeing another wave in India, unfortunately. Let's pray for India. The Delta variant is it the Delta? I think it is. Has shown up in England, and that I just feel like it's, you know, like treading water, you know, not really getting ahead of it, just sort of keeping it under control as best as I can, but it's not easy to control. The Fool is coming up here. So what I was just talking about, we still should adhere to the masking guidelines. I don't mean when you're outside walking around by yourself and there's no one around. I mean the ones where if you're right next to somebody, I mean, I don't work, I work only remotely now. When you're right next to somebody and you're talking and somebody in the room hasn't been vaccinated, that's not a safe situation. So I want everybody to know the Ace of Rods is like, we will get a handle on it, but as I have said before, my guide said it won't be until January of 2024 that we're looking at COVID as a thing of the past. And there will be other pandemics. Mother Nature's trying to get rid of us because we've abused the planet, but that's another rabbit hole. The Six of Cups is, this is actually, the COVID situation is actually going to bring us more together as a world. So I see us very active, America being very active with the World Health Organization. I see us putting a lot of funding into the World Health Organization. And the fact that we are now supplying other countries with vaccinations is going to put us in that actually feels like even more than the G7 summit, in which they were talking about COVID, of course. but even more so, I feel like the World Health Organization, us as a nation, putting energy and effort into that is gonna make us, make the world happy and healthier. So America being back is gonna make the world happier and healthier. Now, of course, we still have problems, but there's that. For some reason, I want to talk about the elephants in China who are meandering like they're lost. I just wanted to touch on that. I don't know if you've heard about that, but the people in China are wondering what's up with the elephants, because they're like coming out of the jungles and walking the streets, I guess. It's a night out. So, and I've heard some psychics say that it's because they sense earthquake activity. I'm picking up tsunami, and I don't mean to scare anyone. I just feel like, because an earthquake would create a tsunami. Not like in 2005. That there are no words for how horrible that was. But let's see what's going on with the elephants. Ask the guides. What are they sensing? What are they picking up on? I'm getting this excited energy, like the elephants got all excited about something. Yeah, it's not great. The guides are just telling me right now, elephants are psychic. They have good memories, we know that. An elephant never forgets. The Five of Pentacles, they're being pushed out of their habitat, for one. And they're looking for, the guides are saying they're seeking safer ground. So that makes me feel like it is earthquake and tsunami energy. Whether it actually comes to that remains to be seen, but I do see a natural disaster in China. I'm feeling like around August. Oh, this is interesting. The Nine of Rods is showing me that the Chinese actually know why the elephants are doing what they're doing. Most Chinese people, it's almost like they're just like, oh yeah, the elephants, when the elephants are doing that, that means such and such. Kind of like, when before an eclipse, like a lunar eclipse, the birds go quiet? Kind of like that. The Chinese people in general seem to know, oh, the elephants are doing that. Like maybe the elders know about this. So they know something's up. And they're keeping it, they're trying to downplay it, but the elephants doing what they're doing is kind of a big deal. Yeah, I'm sensing a natural disaster is coming, and the elephants, the guides are telling me that the elephants are very psychic and perceptive, and in a way, I think elephants are benevolent beings. In a way, they're lovingly warning the people. It's interesting. To take shelter, to look out, to heed the warning. Okay, so I can't make these videos too long because they take forever to upload. And I am back on YouTube, and I'll post this on Facebook too. Let me just think about what your further questions would be. Let's ask about the conspiracy theorists, and as far as voter suppression goes, I think I touched on that already with Merrick Garland making that really important, that voter rights are not taken away. I see those bills being tossed out. I do. By September. So we want to ask about, these conspiracy theorists and the media, the extreme right that are saying, he who shall not be named, they say his name, but will be reinstated in August. I want to see if something's going to happen around August around that. So let's just take a look. Yes, they are planning something. This is the card of the thief, of somebody with nefarious intent, planning to commit a crime. He's got a lot of swords. They have a lot of ammunition. It's going to cause a burden and a strain on our national security, this domestic terrorism. And the Six of Pentacles is actually, it's interesting because what I'm picking up around this is, it's actually these conspiracy theorists that are saying he's going to be back in office, he's going to be reinstated in August. they're going to lose a lot of power through this. They're going to lose a lot of their credibility amongst each other. And it's actually going to make Biden stronger. I really feel a decline. I feel a demise of he who shall not be named being very visible to the public. So like shedding scales, shedding layers. I feel like that it's going to go away. It's going to be a little bit concerning for a while in terms of them creating another insurrection, but I don't see it coming to fruition. I see the National Security, Secret Service, really the FBI really on top of it because of January 6th. And ultimately, we'll end up in a better place. And I feel like Biden will end up in a better place. So maybe actually, not everybody, obviously, maybe actually some people will start to come to their senses. We can only pray and hope. So there's our session for today. If you'd like to book a psychic tarot card reading, it's AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. Send me an email. We'll set it up. And thanks for tuning in. And share if you like. Namaste.